When I met Jesus Christ, he was almost 10 years old, and he was helping his mother push a trolley full of all they owned. And because they couldn't find an inn they could get in, they were heading to the city and leaving Bethlehem. Couldn't you perform a miracle? I'm out of them, he said. I tried turning nothing into warmth, but it just made my mother cry. It just made my mother cry. Mary Magdalene has become a man, and tonight he's old, and she has been riding my tram. Now it's late and your dreams are important to us, as it bathes her face in gold. Come give us your natural gifts, we make wealth from toil. Come pretend for history's page that we're advancing Australia fair. Built on the black man's bones was empty, and out the front a sign read all but sold. A sign read all but sold. And we all owe so much money, but to whom we're not quite sure. So head down, we just keep running along our fading golden shores. So head down, we just keep running along our fading golden shores. Come give us your natural gifts, we make wealth from toil. Come pretend for history's page that we're advancing Australia fair. Let's pretend that we're all advancing Australia fair.
Work. Okay, I'm just trying to figure out why that wouldn't work. Okay, I'm going to bring in Tine in a sec, but it's going to be a difficult show. We have to say that we've had to go out and source a new Starlink because the mini we had simply wasn't working, and we about 6 or 7 times yesterday, and even today we've tried to get Tine on properly to do this show, and always it's been screwing around. This is why we didn't do a show last week, because we had so much technical issues. And so we're hotspotting now as our new Starlink seems to be disconnecting constantly. And we're wondering if it's because we're talking about late-term abortions, which are legal across the country, which I don't think makes them right. So we're going to bring Tine in for a start. But just before we do, we're going to talk about the future of Okay. Hi, Tine. How you going? Let's hope we can. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Michael.
Wow. I'm not kidding, am I? We've been trying to get this together all yesterday and some of today.
It's been a marathon.
Yeah, it has. It has. So, Tine, you're from Mackay. You used to be a school principal. Is there anything else you'd like to tell us about yourself before we proceed, or should we jump right in?
Oh, look, I'm just so on board with having the value of life reinstored into people, freedom. Everything I'm doing for my grandchildren and for other children. And I'm passionate, I'm driven, and I won't stop.
Now, can you believe? Can you? We're talking tonight. Oh, here we go. They actually do exist and legal across the country, isn't that correct?
That's correct. Every state in Australia, full-term abortion. It's just beyond belief. It's Sodom and Gomorrah has nothing on us.
And
It's
I
terrible.
believe that when Senator Ralph Babette, put through a proposal that the babies who were born alive were offered medical treatment and help, and uh, the senators voted that down.
They
That's
did.
what I believe.
They
Yeah.
did. There was one in particular, Katrine Hildyard, a South Australian MP, who was really for the full-term abortion. And she actually organised her own parliamentary briefing to try and convince politicians to vote her way. But get this, she was also the Minister for Child Protection. So how do you work that out? And she was the Minister for the Prevention of Domestic Violence. So I don't know what's going through their heads. I really don't.
I can't get my head around it.
I can't. Our own Premier, Palaszczuk, and our local MP, Julianne Gilbert, at the time, fortunately she's not here anymore, but when it went through and that full-term abortion went through at 2 a.m. and they didn't tell the minor parties, I have actually seen the video of these women dancing and clapping and rejoicing that they had made legal full-term abortion. It made me sick to my stomach. It really did. I actually had a phone call with Julianne Gilbert, our MP. She refused to speak to me many times. And in the end, I said to her, how do you sleep at night? I believe you're a Catholic. How do you sleep at night? And she hung up on me. So, yes, it's terrible.
I'm just watching. If everyone's watching our internet switch off, this is what we've been facing. So it's we don't know what's going on here. So yeah. So you have a group of women dancing that
Yep.
they've got late abortion through.
Yeah. Politicians leading the
Did
country.
they say their justification for why they think it's important?
No, they don't need to. They're too arrogant to have reasons. They don't need reasons, but then we know what the reasons are. Do we talk about the elephant in the room right now, Michael, or leave it for a bit?
Why don't we talk first about there? Why don't we talk about that investigative reporter and the video that Kamala Harris had banned?
Mm.
Do you know that one? Do you want to talk
Yeah,
about
that's
that,
that.
and then we'll play the video?
Okay, well, this is the elephant in the room, and very few people know it. David Daleiden is an American and an investigative journalist. And in 2013, he began a study in the harvesting and trafficking of organs from babies of late-term abortion. He went undercover for 30 months into some of the biggest Planned Parenthood clinics across America. And he discovered that they were creating transactions of baby body parts. They had technicians harvesting the baby body parts, and he witnessed them packaging the body parts and sending them off to their clients. So in
What were the people
2015,
using them for? Do you know what they use these body parts for? Is it stem cells, or what is it that they need baby body parts for?
well, it would definitely be for stem cells, I'd say, but there would be all sorts of research. There would be, well, we know that they use the adrenochrome. I don't know if they get that from the babies, but that's another whole thing. And they want the DNA. They want the baby's DNA.
Hmm. So there's
And
it's
God
isn't it
only,
because
yeah.
we have to go with evidence. I mean, we're thinking this, but the fact that we have basically he was Kamala Harris banned his videos from being out, but he won a court case, didn't he? Or he settled, and now he's
Well,
allowed to.
well, he put out the videos in 2015, and in the first week he had 3 million views, and they jumped on him straight away. He was charged with 15 criminal offences. They searched his home, and the top Planned Parenthood lawyer in California ordered that all video and cameras be taken from his residence because they wanted to shut him up. Now, this went on for 9 years, Michael, this investigation. In April this year, the state of California did agree to a plea deal, and a plea deal is when you agree to something lesser, which would be, I guess, videoing the, he didn't tell them he was videoing, and that's not legal. But he got away with absolutely nothing. There was no fine, no jail time, no admission of guilt, and he actually hails that as a huge success, because if they were not guilty, there is no way they would have let that drop. No way in the world. So it is
they probably want the information to get out because the public would go nuts.
Yeah. Well, they did release that video this year after 9 years, and I believe that's what you've got, isn't it?
Yeah. So we'll play this now, and we'll stop it as we go. This goes for 6 minutes, but these are 3 women working in a clinic where they do abortions, talking about how they sell or how they send off baby body parts. So there seems to be, at least in America, a whole industry built around baby parts.
Correct.
6 months or a year ago, you told me about the proposition. And so now every time I do a DNA, I'm like, oh, there's some love.
Yeah, you already know.
I'm like, yeah, I have like a leg for you. I'm like, oh, shit. If other people were to hear me, they'd be like, you're a evil.
Technician for Biomax.
So we've been working with them. Missy and I have been talking to them about tissue collection and all this other stuff. Middleman. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
sorry to put you like that.
I don't mind. You know what? Middleman.
So you'll be seeing. So you'll be meeting. So you know how Paul.
Yes.
Anne is actually the one that's in my clinic 3.5 days out of the week.
Okay, so definitely see each other.
So you kind of the one who's in charge. Like Paul is the overall medical director of the entire affiliate, but I kind of run the third floor, the abortion services. Yeah. So if once we get our relationship established, it will actually be Anne that you will be seeing more of. You have to come and play with our tissue and see if it's cool enough.
All right.
More profitable for us to isolate it and sell you the. You guys are awesome. Well done.
Yeah. But they need providers who go up to 24 weeks, and Anne is one of the providers. And relationship established, it will actually be Anne that you will be seeing more of. You have to come and play with her.
You have to come and play with our tissue. That's
Oh.
fetus tissue.
It's
But
shocking,
listen to her.
isn't it?
Listen to her. You'll have to come play with our tissue. This is
Yeah.
human beings.
Yeah, well, you got to wonder sometimes, don't you? Well, where's their conscience? It's just got to be killed. They can't have one, because these nurses are laughing.
Yeah, I know.
They're having
I
fun.
know. I know. We'll play a little bit more, but then repeat. I won't play it all, but we.
Tissue and see if it's cool enough for you.
I like tissues.
We have a lot of it.
Okay.
See?
Okay, so more.
We have a lot of it. The proud
Yeah.
celebrating the fact that they have all these baby body parts. these are people that could.
Yeah.
Keep me busy because you know if I'm not busy, I get in trouble.
So I have 2 providers who go up to 24 weeks, and Ann is one of the providers. And I'm so sorry. Met the other provider that goes up to 24 weeks, which is Anitra Beasley.
Okay.
And Ann is the other provider that goes up to 24 weeks as well.
wow,
So
okay.
if you want more intact ones, she'll let you kind of need it.
Okay. So if you want
Horrendous.
more intact. So it's almost like.
Yeah. They work
Now
hard at.
we see this, and I can't see anyone on board with the women yet. So we see this and we're appalled and shocked.
Mm.
But our politicians see this and vote for it.
I just can't get my head around it, Michael. You look at it's totally unbelievable. I hold my newborn grandchildren, the day they're born, and I think the day before they could be murdered. They're considered a bunch of cells until they're in my arms. I don't get it. These are precious, beautiful little lives that have a future, and so many people who can't have children would just give anything to love these children. I have friends with 3 adopted children. It's a wonderful family. And it's murder. How can it not be murder?
What's interesting, though, is the politicians didn't move to end the process because we have full-term abortion everywhere. All they wanted to do was make sure those videos didn't get out, so Joe Blow Public wasn't aware. So
That's
people
right.
go like abortions don't happen, but Senator Ralph Babette said no. There's one a week in Australia, and they're born alive, and they're left to die on the bench, and we couldn't get our head around that. But that must be because if they die intact without any, I'm just guessing, without any sort of painkiller in them, then that must be worth a lot of money to someone.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, it must be. I mean, to leave them, it's illegal. It still is illegal to comfort them, to give them any pain relief. They're left, well, Dr. Joanna Howe, the South Australian lawyer, I'll just quote her. These newborns are left gasping for air, struggling to breathe, and crying in distress on metal kidney dishes. And plastic urine dishes for hours. It's barbaric. And it's inhumane, and we wouldn't do it to our animals. We don't do it to our animals. I don't, just not allowed to touch them. They're ignored, pretended they're not there until
But
they
you
die.
wonder, you think, why wouldn't you touch them? Why can't they just, because they've made it to the light. So what, and the only explanation can be is that there is an industry in baby body parts and someone's making money. There's no other reason why it would be outlawed not to give these babies, even if they're only with us briefly, some. So I heard a story. I heard this a few months back. It was a woman found out her fetus was its bones were disintegrating, and they said it won't survive. They'd never seen anything like it, but its bones were basically melting, and they do think it was because of the you know what. Anyway, they had to they gave birth to the baby, and they said it wouldn't survive the birth, but it did, and they gave it to the mother she had it for 2 hours in her arms. And even though it's still sad, it's tragic, still that 2 hours is 2 hours of a
That's
mother
right.
with this child. Because I'm a man, right? Now, if you're a man and you're with someone pregnant, it takes months before the man can feel anything. He can see a belly, but he can't. It's only very late. Suddenly you go, oh my God, I can feel something, you know?
Yeah,
So, but
yeah.
for a woman, let's take it yourself. I mean, you have children, correct?
I do.
Well, you must have. You've got grandchildren. You know, just what it is. try to explain to a man what it's like to have another human in you.
Well,
Can you remember?
one saying that I have never been able to get my head around is my body, my choice. You know, the moment a woman finds out that she's pregnant, you know, once I was pregnant, everything I did was for those babies. It wasn't my body. I was looking after my body because it looked after their body, but they are not my body. They are totally separate individuals. And you are aware of it every second of every day, that you have a living being inside you, you know, growing enough for you to be able to cuddle, nurture, and bring up. And that truly is the whole, well, not 9 months, but for however long, you know, 8 months. It's just the most emotional experience. And every
Here.
moment, and it is different for the father.
Yeah, it is. Trish says the first flutter is amazing.
Yes. Sorry, what was that?
Trish Wildfire said the first flutter is amazing.
Oh, it is. It absolutely is. And you know what? I have friends who had a baby last year, and they were told early in the pregnancy the baby would not survive. And there was a lot of pressure put on them to terminate, and they wouldn't. They said, no, we'll let it take its course. If she's going to die, we will still have time with her. And they wouldn't change anything. They had her for an hour, and the whole hour she was alive, she was holding her daddy's finger. And they wouldn't swap that. They've got those precious memories and those photos. And I can't get my head around a perfect, beautiful baby literally being murdered, and our so-called leaders applauding it, absolutely applauding it. So, yeah, people need to contact their local MPs, like I did with mine, and say, well, why, you know, what do you think about it?
What
Sorry?
did yours say? What did your politician say?
Oh,
Your local
well,
politician.
she refused to take my calls because I'd asked for several things in the past. And in the end, I said, well, I'll come in and I won't leave until I speak to her. So she came on the line and she said, I don't want to speak to you because you're a troublemaker. And I said, well, I believe in life, and you danced and clapped when you passed full-term abortions.
Dancers.
Yeah, she was one of the dancers. I saw her on video, and I said to her, you're a Catholic. You go to church, you know, almost every Sunday. Where is your integrity? And how do you sleep at night, Julianne? And she hung up on me. So to her, I'm a troublemaker because babies should be loved.
So she goes to church every week. She's a Catholic, and yet she danced about late-term
Yeah,
abortions and
yeah,
babies not given any human touch, at least. It happened to
yeah,
be
that's
born alive.
right. I just don't get it. I don't get it.
Okay.
And both Crisafulli and Miles said if they became premiers, they weren't going to touch the abortion laws. They weren't going to change them. So we've still got leaders in that. You follow the dollar, Michael. You've always got to follow the money. And that's where your answer is every time.
It doesn't seem to make any other sense, does it? And I want to
No,
clear here, I'm not having a discussion tonight about early term abortions or the abortion pill. That's all. To me, that's another subject. That's this.
it is.
Uh, but here, late term abortions, even anything in the third trimester, even
Yes,
it's a baby then. But we had you can have a baby born quite early. Like we had some ladies here the other night saying that her son was born 7 weeks early. It was tiny, but now
yes,
it's a grown man with a family.
that's right.
I think
Yeah, that's
Bruce
right.
he was a prem, if I remember. Look at him now; he's huge. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And our lives are enriched by having him in them. Yeah.
that's exactly right. Yeah, they are babies. They are living human beings. You know, their life is sustainable outside of the womb. And it's just, you know, like when Robbie Katter introduced his Babies Born Alive bill last year, he wanted to stop the discrimination between unwanted and wanted babies. And he said himself, like, regardless of whether the child's wanted or not wanted, it should be loved and cherished. And there are plenty of people who would take these babies and love them and cherish them.
Yeah.
Does it make sense?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
And they're being born vaginally, Michael. They're given an injection of poison into the heart, and they are being born vaginally. So it's not necessary. You know, why aren't they just induced? It doesn't make any sense to me. It really doesn't. And hospitals that are against it are being forced. So faith-based hospitals are being forced to carry out abortion. It overrides our freedom of conscience and any religious beliefs.
Have you talked to any priests about it?
No, I haven't. No, I haven't.
It's amazing the
No.
Catholic Church is screaming, you know.
What church is screaming, Michael? No church is screaming. I don't hear any church screaming about it. You know,
No.
the church, where are they standing up on these issues? I don't hear
Yeah.
it. I don't see it. They should be ashamed of themselves.
I
It's
agree with you.
terrible.
I don't hear any. You know, in fact, the only outcry I'm hearing is from grandmothers like you. I know we had the Cardi girls, I think, had a young girl on. She was adamant against it, a very young girl. And I know there's another young woman, a lawyer, I think. She speaks very well about it and speaks out against it. And as we saw something recently, it was tradies for babies of young men sort of getting together in a group. And so if the politicians aren't, the only way the politicians are going to change is if they think they're going to lose their seats.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
If the politicians think they're going to lose their seats, that's it.
Mm.
So all you could write in a letter is saying to your local politician, if they're for it, we don't hear you take a stance for it, then we're going to work like crazy to get you voted out. In fact, it might be
And
a
that's
time for
why that's why we have to do this tonight, Michael, because so many people out there have no idea that full-term abortion is even happening.
Yeah, that's right.
So we have to educate the people. And
Yeah, there's even, I saw a comment when I advertised this. This woman said, "Oh, it's just a lie by men. No one has late-term abortions." I'm thinking, but well, then why did they vote for them? Why did they vote it in? Why did they offer the ones born alive no care? The politicians voted for it. Why would they do that if there wasn't an issue? It never happened.
That's right.
You know?
Exactly. And, you know, it gets even worse now that they're offering a payment to any woman who has an abortion after 20 weeks. You have an abortion after 20 weeks and you're given a grant of $4,355. That's why are they doing that? Why? It's not a stillbirth, it's a murder. And I can see a lot of kids, or a lot of people getting pregnant to get the money. I know that people tried to get pregnant for the $5,000 baby bonus, even more so for this because they're not going to be saddled with a baby.
Can you imagine, though, going through life, at some point, that money will mean nothing and it'll come back to haunt you? You know?
Well, that's exactly what David Delight. No, I've got actually a story from a Dr. Steve Hammond. He was well on his way to becoming a gynecologist obstetrician, and he'd been brought up in a Christian home, so he believed in life, and he was doing early term abortions and not worrying about it at all. And then they were only first trimester abortions he was doing. And then a 16-year-old girl came into him and she was overweight. So he had no reason to doubt that she was in her first trimester. And so he put the cannula in and expected a very small amount of amniotic fluid to come out and got nearly a litre. And at that stage, he knew that something was terribly, terribly wrong. And then the baby kicked him. And he said it was no different to his baby kicking him when he was changing a nappy. And so it was a baby of 22 to 24 weeks, and he was horrified. The young girl was put into hospital. That baby had to be broken into pieces and the skull crushed to get it out. And now he has counselled many, many patients with adverse physical and psychological consequences from abortion. And he said the painful memories haunt both the patient and they still haunt him, that this fully formed baby, he killed it. So we've got to stop
Yeah,
it. We've got to stop it.
I'm just reading here. Do you know, where have you seen? It says here that there isn't a specific grant for abortions in Australia. However, financial assistance for abortion is available through various organisations. But I did see something the other day about it. Do you know where you saw it?
It's called the stillborn parenting payment. That's
The
what it's
stillborn
called.
parenting. Okay,
Stillborn parenting payment.
Just going to put that in.
Stillborn parenting payment.
Yep.
Got it?
I'm just looking now. Okay, yep, here it is. It's a stillborn. It's a one-off payment of $4,326 available to parents of a stillborn child in Australia. The payment is intended to help with expenses associated with stillbirth. It is not intended to be used for abortion procedures. There's specific criteria, including the baby was born after 20 weeks gestation or weighed 400 grams and did not breathe air. I'm only doing this to make sure that there's a lot of stuff gets posted online and it's incendiary, but I want to make sure, so it says
Dr. Joanne Howe had a post. Dr. Joanne Howe has posted about it too, and the fact that they're getting the stillborn parenting payment for abortions after 20 weeks.
Yep, I got it here. Okay, I'll bring this up now. So this is the woman I've been talking about. Hold on. I'll just share screen. This is in the advertiser. Here we go. So stillborn payment given for abortions. The pro-life activist urges governments to close loophole. That's the young woman I was speaking about. So she's a doctor. I don't know much about her, but she's really well spoken. Yeah.
She's amazing. Amazing. I'm just looking up a post of hers too about and yes, under the Albanese government, women receive that payment for deliberately aborting a healthy baby after 20 weeks, even when there is no medical emergency.
Yep, that says here, fourth support the parents of stillborn babies is being made available following late-term abortions in what pro-life advocates say is a horrific loophole that should be urgently closed. Eligible parent, yeah. 805 people received it last year.
Yeah, 120 loan in Victoria alone. So our taxes are paying for that.
Since prominent pro-life and law professor Joanne Howe said she first heard about the potential for stillborn baby payments to be accessed for late-term abortions when hospital administrator raised her concerns about the increasing problem. She said since then, several midwives and nurses have told her of their distress at having to sign forms to authorize the payment after an abortion. One midwife was in tears over the phone telling me of a mother who had aborted a healthy 28-year-old baby and intended to use the payment for a holiday to Bali.
Oh, yep, that's what will happen. Joanna Howe has a petition, if you get onto her Facebook page, to sign about being against the late-term abortion. So, yeah, and
See,
that's all happened, Michael.
how? Do you know how?
Just
I'm just processing what I just read. That someone
mm,
just aborted a healthy 28-year-old baby, a 28-week-year-old baby, just so she got to use the money to go
I
to
know,
Bali.
that's right.
If that's true, that's just
Well, when the $5,000 baby bonus was out, I know that there were people getting pregnant trying to get it. One in particular wanted a big television. And there's how much more so when these people are going to think, oh, I'll walk away with nearly $5,500 in my pocket and I won't even be saddled with a baby. I can go to Bali on my holiday. It just defies belief. It just defies belief.
what's happening is the devaluing of human life. This is what we're
That's
in.
right.
So in Canada now, euthanasia is, I think, the second highest cause of death. And if you go into a doctor or a social worker or a psychologist, they've got to offer you um, legally bound to suggest that you try euthanasia, or you consider euthanasia for whatever your problem is. And
Yeah.
with the thing
Yeah,
being that, teen, think of what you're doing for the health system, the burden you're removing from the health system by dying. So basically,
that's
they're
right.
saying the system is more important than you. You are the burden. And now look at
That's right.
these babies are being the same way. So it's basically here, you're left, you're unwanted. You're lucky if are wanted, and now as soon as they can't squeeze any more money out of you. Well, come on, do something better, good for society. Go away and die. I mean,
That's
this is a
exactly right.
human planet, and we're all on a human journey and experience. But there are those above us who are trying to treat us just like we're sheep
Yep,
or cattle. That's it.
that's right.
It's yeah,
And
it's
it's
sad.
happening in the school system
I'm trying
too,
to get my head
Michael.
around it. What's that?
Life's being devalued in the school system. You're not allowed to touch a child, to comfort a child. You're literally not allowed to comfort a child. I must admit, I always ignored that. But
But say because when
literally,
my kids were in school, we heard that if the child falls over in the schoolyard, the teachers are not allowed to touch it. So that's
that's
true.
right. Yeah, it is. I know it's true. I know it's true. It's shocking. When I look back to my early years of teaching, if a child, I remember just doing a bit of relief teaching when my first baby was young and a little boy was sick in my grade, and I just sat him on my knee and cuddled him till mum arrived. They're not allowed to do that. Not allowed to do that anymore. It's
Hmm?
crazy. And this is all a part of devaluing life. And we have to, we've got to change it, Michael. We've got to change it. We've got to educate people. People have to know what's going on. And they've got to get out of that complacent Aussie attitude of, she'll be right, Jack. We'll get over it. But
I'm just
rise up.
finding
What
this
can I do? Yeah,
Professor Joanne. So sorry, team. Professor
that's right.
Joanna Howe,
Yes.
stillborn pain given for abortions. Do you know,
Yeah.
let's talk about that, right? So they have all these safeguards to protect the children. You have to we have all of us have to do a working for children check, which costs $80. It's supposed to be you're not a pedophile check. All these other things in place, not allowed to touch the child, and yet this childcare worker in Melbourne gets to basically they've got over 1,000 kids being tested now for sexually transmittable diseases because they've let a pedophile in, and then they had another one that he knew, and so the pedophiles are getting through. The system is not
Good.
actually protecting the child; it's just actually stopping the child from letting good people be there for them. And it's just
That's
insane.
exactly right. As a principal, if someone wanted to come in and say as a teacher aide or a volunteer even, they would fill in for a blue card. And so I'd get them to do all the paperwork. They'd fill it in, do you know what? From the minute I put that letter in the letterbox, that person could work in the school. And for 6 weeks, there was no response for 6 weeks. I never let it happen. I always waited. But legally, from the moment I posted that letter, I could allow that person to volunteer in my school. I didn't know them. And people like schools are so short-staffed, they would take on anyone because they're desperate.
Yeah.
But we've got to bring value back to our babies. Even Queensland Health staff are protesting about these late-term abortions and watching babies die, even of hunger. Well, it's got to be alive for a while to die of hunger, doesn't it? We've got to. People have to listen. People have to act. I would suggest that everyone follow Dr. Joanna Howe on Facebook.
It's satanic. Yeah, we're just finding her now. Here it is.
Good.
And but we're after her Facebook, so just see if we can find her Facebook. I just can't understand why we're in this. How we got here? How this is suddenly okay?
I don't think it's been sudden, Michael. It's been a long time in the making. I was teaching for decades, and I could see the deterioration of the system over that time, and not just in education, but in the value of the children. It's something that they've brought on us slowly. It's incremental. It's like so many other things that have been done lately by the government. It's incremental. So people just think, oh, yeah, just another thing. But this is just...
isn't incremental. I'm sorry, but morality isn't. And so,
No.
I get that too. So that's her. I found her ex. I'll just leave that. That's her ex channel. I haven't found a Facebook channel. You can follow her there. We might reach out to her. I know she'll be podcast of her own. But morality isn't. Murder was seen as bad 1,000 years ago, and murder is bad today. Life is precious, and the only thing that decides life isn't precious is us, or for some reason, us not having the courage to do what you're doing now and speaking out.
We have to.
Evil prospers when good people do nothing, and we live in a world where evil is prospering.
Yeah, that's right. I've got Dr. Joanna's Facebook page up here if you want to look at that.
Oh, we can't do that. I've got Kelly looking for it now, so she'll probably find it in a sec.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Yep. No, I've got her here. No, I've got it.
Good.
Okay. Here's her Facebook post, Dr. Howe. So I'm putting a Facebook up now as well.
Excellent.
Well, just go back and talk about what you saw in school, how you saw the decline bit by bit of, because to me, honestly, I think I would be terrified to be a male teacher in a school now, knowing what allegation, I just couldn't do it. And yet I think when I was growing up, we had a load of great male teachers, and I can't remember any of us being touched up or anything, to be honest,
Well, I had a very close friend who I went through my teaching qualifications with, and we remained friends. And he was accused of 2 year 6 girls accused him of molesting them, and his whole life was turned upside down. He didn't do it, and it was horrendous what it did to him. And at the end of the year, those 2 girls went to him and said, "Oh, sorry about that. We just did it as a joke. We didn't mean it." And it was too late. The damage is done. It was done because there were 2 girls.
Yeah, and man, I
I
feel
know.
sorry for him. you know.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah,
awful.
as a man, just the accusation is very difficult. There's nothing you can do. You know what I mean? You're just seen as guilty.
Yeah.
I'll tell you something beautiful though. Has everyone? I don't know if you've seen it, but we had a snake under our
Saw
bus
that. I saw that.
yesterday. So what we didn't say, this is a point to this. I'm not just doing the segue. So we found this big snake in the road. I dragged it off, and then to get back on the road. So I was just stopping there on the side of the road to make sure it didn't get back on the road because obviously wanted to sun itself. But and then while we were doing that, Kelly turned the bus around to come pick me up, and the snake saw the bus, thought, "Oh, shelter," and it just went under the bus. And then I got onto the bus with it to try stop it from doing what I thought it was going to do, but I wasn't quick enough, and the snake went up into the engine bay or around the gearbox and on top of the fuel tank. I couldn't get to the fuel tank. My chest couldn't get under the space, and so I was sitting there, and literally, usually you can always try to figure a way out of the problem. And I found him curled up, and I thought, I simply don't know what to do. The snake charmer wanted, or the snake catcher wanted $90, whether he could get it out or not. We're thinking $90. And so, and then they were saying, don't go near the bus. But we think we've got an interview to do with you, which we couldn't get to work. And if we drove, we'd kill the snake. And I'm at the front of the bus thinking, I just don't know what to do. And Kelly didn't know what to do. We're just sitting there going, what do we do? And then a car stopped on the other side of the road, and a young tradie got out of this ute. I think he was either working in the house or maybe he lived there. I don't know. And I just said, and he gave me a smile and a wave. I said, hey, mate, you any good with snakes? And this beautiful, young, Australian, healthy, heterosexual male, and I'm going to say all of that, because these are the ones that we say they're toxic masculinity and they're bad and that we shame them constantly. This beautiful young man, brave as anything, came up. He got under the bus. He was prodding it with a stick. I was on the side trying to prod it from another way. He got shat on by the snake twice, grabbing it here and there. He actually grabbed it once and said, "No, I'm hurting it." So he let it go. And eventually he got it to a position where its body fell out, and I grabbed its body, ripped it out, and then I put it in a sort of a swamp that was there, and that was it. But what I was saying was not our lives, but our day was saved because we were just stuck, man. Our day
I
was
saw
saved.
that.
Beautiful young Australian male.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
this is what you need I don't know, there's something really calm, and he was humble and he was calm, and he just saved the day, champion. And this is humanity. This is humanity.
Yeah.
We're so much into shaming ourselves and welcome to country. Oh, you're not meant to be here, and white privilege and everything else they can do to make us feel bad about ourselves, and political correctness to make sure we don't say anything that insults the government. Because as we all know from Constantine, political correctness was created by the communists to silence everybody, and that's why they're using it on us. And that's why it's even awkward now talking about late-term abortions. Oh, it's not very politically correct because all the politicians love it, but it's evil.
It is evil. And you know, there's a lot of sex selective abortion now too. And they're finding that baby girls are being killed more than baby boys, which is really sad.
In this country?
In this country, yes, in Australia. And Dr. Joanna Howe actually interviewed a Dr. Mark Hobart, and he was investigating. You know that story? He was investigated and cautioned by the Australian Medical Board because he refused to the killing of a baby girl because of her gender, a late-term abortion. So, yeah.
So the mother went and complained?
It must have, yeah, because he got into trouble, and I can read it actually. And this is on Joanna Howe's page. Dr. Mark Hobart endured an investigation and was cautioned by the Australian Medical Board because he refused to agreeing to the killing of a baby girl because of her gender. He is a modern-day hero for standing up for the rights of girls. And you can watch the whole interview with Dr. Hobart on Dr. Howe's YouTube channel. But yes, it's going on in Australia, and girls are being killed more than boys. So that's another facet of it. Where's the value of life if you only want one particular gender? All I wanted was a baby. It didn't matter whether it was a boy or a girl.
See if that was culture specific, wouldn't it? There were certain cultures.
Certain
I hate
cultures,
to
for
say
sure.
politically corrupt as well, but
Yeah.
I couldn't see ordinary Aussies doing that, but maybe we do. But,
I think we've been surprised. There's a bit of designer baby going on, isn't there?
yeah, maybe.
I
Maybe.
believe there is. I think there is. It's just incredible. So, yeah, I don't know. We just have to educate people, and we have to.
You're trying to process tonight because you're like, we're here. We're here now where our morality of what we thought was our morality, we're here. But there's another morality that's lawful and, protected by the politicians, which is disgusting. Well,
I know. I know. It's hard to get your head. Well, you can't. We can't. We shouldn't expect to be able to get our heads around it. We shouldn't be able
why?
to because
It's not even an election issue. This should be an election issue. Are we the generation that slaughters?
Yeah,
It's
well, it was an election issue, and that both sides were saying we're not touching abortion. Chris Avulli said, "I'm not even looking at abortion laws for 4 years," and Miles said, "I'm not changing them." So it was an election issue.
if they're not
But
touching them, do you think the majority of the public then are like, yeah, whatever? Do
I
you
don't.
talk
I
to
don't.
talk to people about it? What's the reaction? Because I'm watching the comments. The comments, everyone's in horror.
Yeah, and you know why? Because they probably don't realise that late-term abortion is legal. That's the thing. They don't realise that right up until the day a baby's due, it can be murdered. I think that's the shock. We have to tell people that.
And it's happening.
It's happening.
It's happening.
Yeah. Well, the number of abortions in South Australia dropped last year. This is interesting because this is where Dr. Joanna Howe is, and she had a huge protest about, about one of the, I can't remember which law it is off by hand, but she had a huge protest about the late-term abortions in Adelaide, and the number of abortions in South Australia dropped to its lowest in 25 years because people are starting to speak out. So we have to keep speaking out, and we have to tell people why they are wanting the late term abortions too. Like this trafficking and selling of body parts, it's horrendous.
I think the tragedy too is there's so many families out there now who would adopt. I know when I was young, where if a woman got pregnant, they'd send her to a convent, she'd give birth, and then the babies would be adopted out. I've met lots of those, and not everyone got adopted, but there was lots of that happened. I've got lots of friends that went through that process, and but they had lives. They might have had a sad time, but they had lives. They, they had families of their own. They bought houses. They followed their dreams. So they did have lives, but what they had was they had too many babies and not enough people wanted to adopt them. But this is different now. I think there's lots of families out there and people out there who would adopt a child and give a child a good life. And
Absolutely.
so there's no need for this, and it's, yeah. And even if the
Well, we
woman
know
didn't
that,
want to have a baby then, imagine if it was and she could come back in 5 or 10 years and go, there's life, you know? It's very
right.
hard. It's a very emotional, but despite the emotion, as far as I'm concerned, late-term abortions are just evil. They're a
They are.
form of, you
Well,
know,
let's face it, they're not abortions, Michael, are they? They're murder. They're murder of a baby that someone would love to hold and cuddle and nurture and bring up and rejoice in all its milestones. Infertility's on the rise. There are more and more people who would
that's
be
one of the things.
willing to take these
So many people
babies.
with IVF, and the IVF is failing. Can I tell you something? I used to work in nursing homes when I first came to Melbourne for a few years as I was trying to write. It was easy work for me to get. And I used to like stories and these old peoples, are full of stories. I heard all these remarkable stories that I'm just always loved hearing people's stories. But there's one night or for a few nights I got hit upon the idea. I just wanted to ask old people, and to be honest, it was mainly women because it was mostly women in the homes. And I said, "What is the most beautiful thing you ever saw?" And I was thinking a lot of these women had houses and they'd been to Europe, and every single old lady I asked, without exception, just went soft in their face and said, "Babies."
Yeah, that's it.
That was it.
That's
They
it.
just went,
There's-
"Babies." They didn't even think about it. They just went back to a
No.
place where you could see them almost looking where they were with the baby. They traveled
Yeah,
back in time through the question, and it was so moving. In the end, I used to do it just because it was so joyous to watch this bored face sitting in a room. You ask them that question, and they go somewhere wonderful. It was really lovely to watch, and that's it. So this woman that went to Bali, I mean, here we are. This is it. It's valuing life.
yeah.
It's so precious, and they're
I
trying to make
know.
us feel, but that's the evil that's going on.
And I,
Yeah.
I would say the same thing. The most beautiful moment in your life is holding that newborn baby. There's nothing more beautiful. Nothing. They're so precious. They're so innocent, and they're so vulnerable. And they depend upon us entirely. And we're abusing that trust. We're just abusing them. It's shocking. There's just another post here I'll read from Dr. Joanna Howe. David Crisafulli this was December 24, must resign immediately. The 50 Liberals who supported the motion, that would be for the full-term abortion, should hang their heads in shame. This is indefensible. The only MP who raised the plight of these babies who are callous, that's right, it's the Baby Born Alive bill. The plight of these babies, the only MP who raised it as being callous and being left to die after birth or brutally slaughtered is Robbie Katter. The only one. Robbie Katter is the only one who stood up against it. That's terrible. So it's not just Labor and Liberal, is it?
I just don't understand. Like, look here now. None of the comments, there's dozens of comments. Not one comment is for it. Yes, Tracy, the snake got out alive. We got it out. Not one of the comments, uh, not one of the
Yeah.
comments is for it. So why are all these
Well,
politicians? Because if they must know that they're not going to lose their seat, so they must
yeah.
know that people aren't going to throw them out because they voted for it. You know, it'd be easy
Well,
to
let's
find out. I mean,
encourage.
Robert, you should get a picture of your local politician and said this woman danced when late-term abortions were passed, and this, no care to live babies. Put it as a post. See what people say. That'll scare her that way. You know.
And I think we need to encourage all of these people. Those posts are just coming up all the time, Michael. Those comments. If all of you people who are commenting, just take a few more minutes and write to your local MP
Thanks,
and
guys.
tell
I'm going to
them.
Send it.
or ring them up and write a letter. A letter is much better than an email, a hard copy. So do something. Everyone can do something. I quote this when I do my speeches on Saturdays. I always end by saying, "What can I do?" said 26 million Australians. We can change our country. Every single one of us stands up and does something. We can change our country because we're not alone. It's amazing the number of people that are rising up.
Well, this is a worthy fight. I mean, these poor little things can't do anything for themselves except
No.
suffer and hope.
That's right.
God, does my head in.
Yeah.
Does my head in. It's just,
Yeah.
yeah. Hey, Jean, how you doing? There, just, yeah, shocking. Thanks for coming on
Yeah.
so late. I'm glad we managed to get through.
We tried
We
hard
still have
enough.
and stuff, but we managed. Like we were driving all over Queensland, all over the Gold Coast area, or wherever, or New South Wales. I don't even know where we were, and all we could get was 2 bars, 1 bar on our phones to do. And here we are now. I think we're in Yakla. We're at the back behind an industrial area, and and stuff bars to go live because our new Starlink just keeps disconnecting. So
Well, we've been lucky
non-stop.
tonight.
Yeah,
We got it done.
we're
We got
lucky
it
tonight.
done.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks
I'm
for
going to go.
having me on, Michael. Thank you.
No problem. Good to see you. And let's see what. Tine, how can people contact you if they want to find you?
I'll give you a phone number. Have we got it there? It is. We're just looking it up. I have my offsider looking that number up for me.
I don't think we should do a phone number. If we do a phone number, what we do is look. If you want to contact
It's
Tine,
the
contact us. CafeLockdown@gmail.com. You all know it. Or Messenger, but preferably email, and we'll send it through Tine. I won't
the
put
phone
your
number.
phone number.
It's not
There's
a
too many
personal
tries.
phone number. It's a phone number for Worldwide Rally for Freedom. So it's not a personal
Okay.
phone number I'm giving you.
All right.
It's
Well, can you type it in the comments? Does that work?
how do I type it in the comments? Can you type it in the comments?
Tine's number. Okay, far away.
0491
0491
016 141.
There we go. Okay, that's
Excellent.
the first time
Thank
I've ever
you.
done it. There's Tine's number there. If you're inspired by this and you want to help, because I think this is an easy win. You could literally get grandmothers around Australia to win this.
Yeah.
Get the grandmothers on
Yeah.
board, other people, and there'll be a lot of men. That's what I heard. Tradies for babies. This is it. This is an
Yes.
easy campaign to win, and I want
Yeah.
we wouldn't it be great to get a politician on and go explain to us why this is a good thing, a morally good thing, and why we're a good community, why we are a decent human community for allowing children just to die. Tell us why. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
that's the question that everybody can put to their local MP. Please respond
Yeah.
to me and tell me why this is a good thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, if you're in Mackay, Michael, give me a call.
Good to see you
We'd love
again.
to see you again. Love to see you again up here. It's warm.
Well,
I'm in short
I've got to
sleeves.
sleep this weekend. Yeah, look, I'm close, but well, I wasn't going to announce this, but I haven't seen my mum in 2 years, and she has Parkinson's, and it's getting tough, and I want to see
Yeah,
her. So I'm pretty sure that after this
absolutely.
weekend, I have a lot of things to do, but I'm probably going to piss off to Perth and spend time with my mum.
Good on you.
So
Good on you.
we'll see how we go. All right. So I'll
Well,
let you know.
good
But
to
this
see you
is a
well
poem
again.
I wrote. This poem is based on a true story that a homeless man told me. I turned it into a poem, and AI's turned it into a song. But this is about a single mum who, if you listen to the words, she's doing it rough, and but she helps someone without even knowing. and the power of love and stuff like this. So
Mhm.
I'll play this. It's called Q Park. I haven't got a video for it, Jess. It's Q Library Car Park Lullaby. Good to see you again,
Okay.
Neen. I'll let you go. Tine.
Thank you.
Sit there.
We'll catch you in
Take care,
Mackay.
guys.
Thanks,
Give Tine a
Michael.
call if
Bye.
you think you can help.
About 10:30 as the dawn pulled up and parked beneath a car park's light. A rear door opened, a dog got out, and after sniffing around, it relieved itself. Then it sat near the front door, looked over at me, and it said unequivocally, I don't know who the hell you are, so don't even think of coming near this car. Q library was closed, no, its books were asleep, dreaming alphabetically. But out here I heard a little baby cry, and then I heard another child join in. So I was gonna go over and ask, hey, are you okay? But that dog stood up and he glared at me. I don't know who the hell you are, so don't even think of coming near this car. Then a light flickered on, and there inside a young mom was trying to soothe her kids. But because it was cold or because it was night, I heard them both continue to cry. Then all alone in that lonely car, I heard her sing a lullaby. Then all alone in that lonely car, I heard her sing them a lullaby.
Hush, little baby, don't say a word. Daddy's gonna buy you a mockingbird. And if that mockingbird don't sing, then Daddy's gonna buy you a diamond ring. And as I listened to her sing, I pulled my head into my sleeping bag. Amidst the sweat and the stubborn stains, I found my mom and heard her sing. Hush, little baby, don't say a word. Daddy's gonna buy you a mockingbird. And if that mockingbird don't sing, then Daddy's gonna buy you a diamond ring.
Then when the morning broke again, I found that they and their car were gone. And I have to say it was very strange for me to sleep this long. But as I packed up my bed and bags, I could still hear her song. I guess like her kids, I must have drifted off. I guess like her kids, I must have drifted off.